The proudest thing I'm here tonight is not my movie, which I'm very proud of. It's my daughter graduates from West Point in 4 weeks. She volunteered. She's going to 101st Airborne. Hurrah! She's already got orders to Afghanistan in 2011, and she's there to defend you. On September 18th of 2008, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Republican Secretary of Treasury, Hank Paulson, and the Republican-appointed Federal Reserve Chief Ben Bernanke went to the White House and met with the Republican president to discuss the mishandled bankruptcy of Lehman Brothers, which had caused an implosion in the world's financial market, with $5 trillion blowing out of the money market system and causing an implosion in world financial markets. President Bush sent them immediately up to Capitol Hill to meet with the Gang of Eight: Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, Mitch McConnell, John Boehner. At that meeting, they discussed that emergency measures had to be taken, including an $800 billion cash infusion to save the American financial system. That if that wasn't done, that the world's financial system would melt down in 30 days, and with it, the American political system. Now, how did the destruction of the American financial system, the world financial system, and the American political system take place? Tell me, how did that happen? When the biggest enemies we've had in the last 100 years, the Nazis, the communists, the fascists, Imperial Japan, even Osama bin Laden, not one of our enemies could ever destroy our financial and political system. They couldn't even imagine it. How did it happen? Quite easily. In the last 20 years, our financial elites and the political class have taken care of themselves and led our country to the brink of ruin. Now, since that day in September 2008, we've had bailouts in the financial system in excess of $2 trillion. We've had government takeovers of the automotive industry, the banking industry, the insurance industry, and now our healthcare system. President Obama has given us a budget that at its minimum will add another $9 trillion to our debt in 10 years. A debt that's already out of control. Our $14 trillion federal debt is only the tip of the iceberg, ladies and gentlemen, the tip of a very nasty and jagged iceberg. Between Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, we have another $80 trillion of unfunded liabilities. The new health care bill has another $1 to $3 trillion of additional costs to it. Our accumulated trade debt is $7 trillion we owe to foreigners. At the state government level, we owe another $3 trillion in unfunded pension liabilities. If you do the math and work the numbers correctly, 2/3 of our state governments, 2/3 of our municipal and city governments, and 2/3 of our banking system are insolvent. It's reported that next year $800 billion will have to be refinanced in corporate America. That's the biggest refinancing of any country in history. Experts are now telling us that there's an additional $3.5 trillion of a ticking time bomb of mortgages that are underwater. The only reason that personal and family debt is dropping is because of the write-offs associated with personal bankruptcies and mortgage defaults. In short, the accumulated debt at all levels of our society pose an immediate existential threat to America. Now, existential is a highfalutin term meaning to the core of one's being. Now, unlike the manufactured crises of global warming and healthcare, this is a true crisis. This crisis threatens the very sovereignty of our country. And that, I mean our nation, our states, and you as individuals. Leverage is a drug, and debt, particularly public debt, is like heroin. We must face a very unpleasant fact. Our beloved country is an addict, and it's addicted to a drug it cannot wean itself off of, provided by the pushers on Wall Street and the mules on Capitol Hill. America needs an intervention, and the Tea Party is going to give it to them. Tonight, on either side of this street of 8th Avenue, I'm looking into the face of the parental supervision of the financial rehab of the United States of America. Now, I know most of you folks read the New York Post, and I'm told that because the mainstream media has told me that you're too dumb, stupid, and half-witted to read the paper of record of the liberal elites. But if you saw the headlines today, they led and said you were discontented. Now, I ask you, why would you be discontented with a system that provides socialism for the very poor and the wealthy and a brutal form of capitalism for everybody else? Why would you be discontented with a system that reeks with crony capitalism for the wealthy, but robs economic opportunity from our middle class? Why would you be discontented with a system, if you're under 30 years old, your children are going to be poor and your grandchildren are going to be paupers? They also scream from this headline, if you had a chance to see it, "Who backs the Tea Party?" It will not surprise you that the New York Times writer and the editor failed to give the correct answer. Well, here's who backs the Tea Party. It's the people who fight our wars, pay our taxes, run our civic organizations, who build our cities, and who hold our neighborhoods together. In short, the people who back the Tea Party are the beating heart of the most decent and greatest nation on earth. Who backs the Tea Party? The American people back the Tea Party. Now, it's common knowledge among these elites, it's common knowledge in the New York Times newsroom that if they did not publish this paper every morning, that CNN, when you cut CNN on, it would be a test pattern. That Anderson Cooper and David Gergen and all of that ilk would have nothing to pontificate on. Now you remember Anderson Cooper, don't you? Yeah. That's keeping them honest, Anderson. He's the one that referred to you, the most decent people in the most decent country on earth, as a collection of teabaggers. Now, my great friend Andrew Breitbart informed me that that's a crude sexual reference. Hey, Anderson Cooper, let's keep him honest. Anderson, bro, teabag this. You can't handle the truth. It doesn't take a weatherman to tell you which way the wind blows, and the wind's blowing off the high plains of this country through the prairie and lighting a fire that's going to burn all the way to Washington in November. Now, CNN is the self-appointed most trusted name in news. Well, CNN, let me introduce you to one of the most trusted men in America. A man of courage, a man of integrity, a man who talks truth to power, a man who for over 30 years has reported on the war on the middle class, the deindustrialization of our country, the shipping of jobs overseas.